Good afternoon. I'm Westchester County Executive Ken Jenkins. Today is January 20th, and this is This Week in Westchester, The Briefing. Over this weekend, this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, the Westchester County Health Department needed to respond to a water break in the town of Greenburgh. This break was significant, and currently the Westchester County Department of Health's Division of Environmental Health is working with the town of Greenburgh to ensure appropriate water quality testing once the service is restored. The service was restored sometime around 5 o'clock last night on Monday, and what happens is they wanted to make sure that they did not try to turn the system all at one time. That's not how it works. They do it in pieces, but certainly it is the town of Greenburgh's water district. It's water district number 1 in Greenburgh, and again, even if you were not directly impacted by the outage, either you had no water or water pressure went down significantly, anywhere in the district could be impacted once they turn back on the water, and they want to make sure that they have tested for over a 48-hour period and make sure that there's good results. So a boil water advisory was issued, and certainly we worked with the Greenville Fire Department and the Hartsdale Fire Districts, the Greenville Fire Department and the Hartsdale Fire District, in coordinating the movement of 8 tanker units from northern Westchester to the local firehouses to ensure an adequate water supply while that effort was going on over the past few days. These tankers were rotated in the area to make sure that from an operational perspective, that in the unlikely event something needed to happen, that we had proper water to be able to handle those things. And certainly our Department of Emergency Services Command Center 60 Control assisted in that conversation. In addition, the Greenville Fire Department requested and received a generator and a restroom trailer. And then certainly we worked with them as far as having bottles of water available. We offered 2,000. The town of Greenburgh chose not to go down that path, but we wanted to make sure that that happened. There's a boil water advisory that is in effect for whether you're using water for cooking or for teeth brushing or anything like that. It doesn't count if you're utilizing it for showers or for dishwashers, which heat up the water themselves. So again, pay attention to the notices. The town sent one out, as well as the county health department. You should continue to check in with the town of Greenburgh for those updates. The health department will issue an advisory when everything is clear as far as the environmental testing is concerned, but it is an issue whenever there's water main breaks, that when the water comes back on, that there may be contaminants in the water. And again, it was a significant break in multiple places, and it needed that particular time to go through. So we know there were a bunch of folks in Greenburgh that did not have impact of water for a few days, but we're on the path on getting those straight. Again, make sure to look at the town's website and make sure you sign up for those email notices from the town of Greenburgh, as well as looking at the Department of Health's website to continue to get that information in the town of Greenburgh. But right now, there is a boil water advisory. And the last thing, the Department of Health, Dr. Shalita Emler is our commissioner, Deputy Commissioner Chris Erickson in charge of environmental health, continue to say error on the side of caution. Right, it's better for you to be able to boil that water and not have any of the other challenges that might happen by having bacteria in the water, and then we'll move forward together once the town gets the all clears from an environmental perspective, and the boil water advisory will be lifted. Again, look at that information. It is in depth and on the website for the County Department of Health, as well as the town of Greenburgh. I'm really happy to announce today the appointment of Lala Curtin, who is going to be our Deputy Director of Operations. It's a promotion from her previous role as the Deputy Director in Consumer Protection. Lala Curtin brings extensive experience in both state and local government, along with a strong background in policy, operations, and public service. In her new role, she will help oversee the day-to-day county operations, support independent interdepartmental coordination, and advance initiatives that strengthen service delivery for Westchester residents. Lala has demonstrated exceptional leadership, sound judgment, and a deep understanding of our government operations, and her experience and commitment to public service make her an invaluable addition to our operations leadership team. Lala has a law degree from the New York Law School, and her promotion reflects our continued investment in developing our seasoned leaders from within our workforce. Coming up soon, we're going to have our waste reduction study. Legislator Erica Lang Pierce will be up here for something else a little bit later on, but we have continued to work on that initiative that Legislator Erica Lang Pierce spearheaded on the Board of Legislators, and we are in this particular situation now where we've heard the community interest in how Westchester can continue to reduce waste and recycle more, and we are absolutely working through this process. So the study has been completed, but that's where we're working today, where improvements can be made and how we can responsibly reduce the amounts of trash that need to be disposed of in the future. This study builds on programs already in place and explores new ideas focused on education, organics, reuse, and equity. We'll be sharing those details soon, but not until after we work through the Board of Legislators to be able to bring those opportunities for public engagement and next steps as we move from the study to action. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to come up shortly. Again, once the Board of Legislators finishes announcing all of its committees, we're going to be able to move forward with that and bring that straight down through the Board of Legislators Environmental Committee, if that's what Chairman Gashi chooses to call it in this particular session. This evening, on the 20th, we're working with the the Office of the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, and she is having this evening in White Plains, in the White Plains Library from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. tonight at the White Plains Library, right across the street from us at 100 Martine Avenue, where they will be discussing deed theft. And this has been a significant issue. We've heard it in so many places, whether it's from Jim Mazzano in our consumer protection, and certainly our Department of Senior Programs and Services with so many other things that are happening. And we need to have everyone learn how to protect their home, recognize deed theft scams, and access free homeowner support, including housing counseling and legal resources. So you're going to hear from a panel of housing and legal experts and connect directly with organizations that can help. Again, from a county perspective, both the county executive's office, the Board of Legislators continue to be standing up for all the constituents, and a deed theft is a significant issue in our county, but around the country as well, because so many things happen electronically, and with AI and all those other things happening around that, there is some significant things. And our Attorney General Tish James and her team have been on the forefront in trying to help protect folks and making sure that we do not have properties that are illegally taken from people just because someone walks through the county clerk's office and does things in a way that is surreptitious. So, with that, tonight, again, deed theft, White Plains Library, and that's from 6 to 9 p.m. this evening, led by our Attorney General, Letitia James. Today's municipal guest, and we have lots of things going on in today's Westchester, the briefing. Our first guest is a friend of ours that does just so much things. He was a former council member on the Rye City Council and so many other things, but he is our mayor, the newly elected mayor and appointed and installed mayor in the city of Rye, one of our favorite places that we'll talk about right after he finishes, is Rye Playland, and he is our host there, and that is our good friend, Josh Nathan. So Mayor Nathan, call him up and let us know everything that's going on in Rye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, County Executive Jenkins. I just want to say that the quality of the partnership between the county and individual municipalities is so important to all of us living here in Westchester, and we have great partnerships with you, and it's really wonderful to be a part of it. Ken, I want to thank you and your team for coming and meeting with my team in Rye last week. We reviewed a myriad of ways in which we work together, will work together, and how we can solve some challenges that we have together and make things great for people living in Rye and people who enjoy the municipal parks in Rye City. They're part of Westchester County's wonderful park system. I also want to thank you and your team for hosting an intermunicipal meeting on the airport master plan last week. That's something that's very important to many of the shoreline communities and, of course, everyone who uses that airport. And that's the kind of roll-up-your-sleeves, in-depth partnership we're all looking for, and we know we can count on with you and your colleagues. Flooding is a major issue countywide. Again, you are someone that brings us all together to work on that, and the payoff is in the tens of millions and more. I was very glad to see all the municipalities in our county that received grants for flood mitigation and water quality projects. These were announced last Thursday morning. Among them was a grant from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to the Rye Nature Center. And the Nature Center is receiving funding to do restoration work along the Blind Brook, which is a source of flooding, but also has the ability to mediate flooding together with marshland lands around the brook. And so we were very grateful to be part of a whole bunch of municipalities receiving project funds like that. And again, the county for bringing us all together to do that kind of work. A few more Rye highlights. Last week, the Westchester Children's Museum in Rye had an open house. I saw so many of my county friends there. If you have little kids, you've got to go. It's amazing. If you don't have little kids, the little kid inside you will love it. So go anyway. I was also very excited, and I know the county's going to speak more about this, but I got to see walking around yesterday. That's how I enjoyed my Martin Luther King Day, was walking around county parks. We got to see some dental work being done on the dragon's teeth at Rye Playland's Dragon Coaster. So we're looking forward to hearing more about that. But again, thank you, Ken, for getting that park opened in a hurry last year and returning it to become the People's Park, what it was built for, what it's always meant to be, and what I'm confident it'll always be under your stewardship. Valentine's Day is coming. It's a great time to make plans to come downtown to Rye and enjoy vibrant shopping on Purchase Street, have a drink at Anna Maria's Wine Bar, enjoy dinner at any one of our many amazing restaurants. Let me close with this, though. Those are all fun things, all good stuff going on. There's a lot going on in the bigger world. It's a lot of stress. I can tell you this. Please know that the spirit of government at the county, the Rye City, and all the Westchester County municipalities, the spirit of government is all about government for the people, making things good for all of us who live here. I've never been prouder to be part of such a group of people and everyone in this room. So thank you very much. Thank you, Ken, for leading the charge on this. It's a real pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Richard Wishney, Deputy County Executive. Last year, in early 2025, County Executive Jenkins, in conjunction with the Board of Legislators, convened a gun violence prevention task force. I was appointed to co-chair the meetings of the task force, and that has been an enlightening opportunity to work with some of the county's leading experts on issues related to a complex social problem. Excuse me. Today, it's an honor to introduce Catherine Borgia, who successfully coordinated the activities of the task force. Catherine was an extraordinary addition to the task force, and I cannot thank her enough for the tremendous work she has done to date. Catherine is here today to report on the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force's ongoing countywide effort to reduce gun violence through prevention, collaboration, and community-based strategies. Catherine, please come and join us.
So, as the Deputy County Executive said, we convened in early 2025 to look at the problem of gun violence in Westchester County. Now, statistically, we're quite fortunate because gun violence is not statistically significant in Westchester in the way that it is in many other communities. However, gun violence is a different type of problem because every incident of gun violence reverberates through the communities in ways that is different from other types of crime. For example, if there's a section of a community where it's perceived to be dangerous, that impacts the economics, it impacts the well-being, it impacts the mental health of the residents who live there. So every incident, one incident is too many incidents. One of the things that was reflective of the genius of the county executive is the cross-section of people that comprise this task force. We have professionals, elected and appointed government leaders like our co-chair, Deputy County Executive Wishney, who we will miss very much upon his retirement, law enforcement educators, nonprofit leaders, community activists, mental health professionals, youth counselors, communications professionals, artists, people who have been impacted on both sides of gun violence as perpetrators and as victims. And that really gave us such a wide and comprehensive understanding of the problem. Like the Deputy County Executive said, we've really learned a lot from each other over these past 12 months. We really wanted to look at a comprehensive look at what type of gun violence we have in Westchester County, and then also the environmental, societal, and psychological nature of gun violence, and how we can sort of borrow from other communities that have tackled this problem effectively, like New York City and the city of Baltimore, and incorporate those types of programs into Westchester County. So we've been working in subcommittees. That's our favorite thing to do in the government. So we do have a data subcommittee led by probation's Rachel Kutzer, who has worked with our public safety and all the law enforcement agencies around Westchester. We've had incredible cooperation, gathering data so that we can really identify the program. One of the things we learned when we did a 5-year look back on that data is that more than half of the gun violence deaths in Westchester County are suicides, more than half. 54%. So that made us realize that talking about suicide prevention, talking about safe storage, reducing the impulsivity of some of the gun violence decisions that get made will really have an impact on our gun violence safety in Westchester County. We also in that subcommittee, worked with some gun shop owners who gave us their perspective on what they think would reduce gun violence in the community. They asked for and received, thanks to our Commissioner Orth, a stronger relationship with the Department of Community Mental Health, and that has been very successful for them, a good resource for them. And also urged us to continue to really make safe storage. You know, Westchester was vanguard in safe storage laws when the Deputy County Executive was on the Board of Legislators. This is when the first laws were passed. New York State, as is their wont, copied our legislation, and now we want to make our policies, our procedures stronger, and hopefully that they will spread across New York State. Our communications subcommittee is led by an artist and activist, Sharon Rubenstein from Peekskill. She is working on a series of PSAs speaking to individual groups about safe storage and about how to reduce the impulsivity of gun violence. Accidental shootings, accidental deaths, accidental injuries happen quite a bit in Westchester County too, along with intimate partner violence. So we want to make sure we're speaking to every stakeholder group that could impact this. Parents, let me say that if you have a gun in your house and you believe your child does not know where it is, you are wrong. They do. They absolutely do. We've also taken a step back and looked at what are some of the services that already exist in Westchester County that can help mitigate some of the stressors that lead to gun violence. Our coordination committee, led by Liz Oliveto, who is a youth employment specialist in our Department of Social Services, and Debbie Burrell, the executive director at the Mount Vernon Youth Shelter, have really identified all the many resources, because we want to make sure people understand that there is help available. And we'll be hopefully rolling out some ways that people can access that. We also are very fortunate to have Barry Graubert, who of Moms Demand Action, leading our policy committee, identifying some advocacy that we can do at New York State to help protect residents of Westchester and New York State. And our youth subcommittee, led by our youth shelter executive director, the marvelous Joanne Dunn, because we believe that speaking to our youth is really critical to understanding this problem, understanding some of the things that might lead someone to carry a gun, might lead someone to use that gun, not in a premeditated, thoughtful way, but in a way that could really impact their lives forever. And we hope to culminate our work this June by co-sponsoring the second annual Beyond the Bullet Conference, working in cooperation with our Parks Department, and really setting forth some policies and some programs and some ways of accessing programs that can really help keep the residents of Westchester safe. So we want to say thank you to, of course, our wonderful County Executive Jenkins, all the people that we have worked on this with us, and all the people who have given us their time and their expertise to really help us understand this problem in the most comprehensive way. So thank you. Thank you, Ken.
All right, thank you, Catherine. And that was Catherine Borgia, who's been leading our special advisor on women and families, that's been able to lead a particular effort for us for the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force. My legislator and the legislator represented on the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force is Shanae Williams, and between Shanae Williams and the Board of Legislators giving input with individuals that were on the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force, as well as all the members. For that, we want to say thank you to them again, that this work is going to continue. We were able to start with getting dollars from the state. New York State, Governor Kathy Hochul invested dollars that came through the county that were going to 13 specific agencies to try to reduce and eliminate gun violence, and we're continuing that effort. Again, I want to highlight the surprising statistic that Catherine Borgia was mentioning, which was that 54% of the gun violence here in Westchester is from suicide. So again, we have to continue to work to make sure all the resources that people have available are there, and it takes that entire village to do that. So, Catherine, thank you for your leadership in that particular effort. Up next, we're going to welcome up to us, and we're always pleased to welcome a good friend of ours that is in the city of Rye as well, but they serve so many people throughout the region, and that is Brian Harper, our Stakeholder Relations Manager from the New York Blood Center, Community and Stakeholder Relations Manager Brian Harper. He's going to come and talk about the urgent blood shortage currently impacting our region. Brian's going to explain what this emergency means for patients in need, and why your donation matters more than ever, and provide details on how and where you can donate blood to make a difference. And we know so many of our colleagues in government have done their own blood drives, and certainly our houses of worship and other organizations, and Brian's going to tell us more about that. So right now, Brian Harper. So it's good to see you.
Thank you so much, County Executive Jenkins. As he said, my name is Brian Harper. I'm Manager for Community and Stakeholder Relations with New York Blood Center. New York Blood Center has served the tri-state area for more than 60 years, and each year we deliver more than 500,000 life-saving blood products to more than 150 hospitals, healthcare partners, and EMS providers. Last year, we opened our new master campus in Rye. It's good to see you, Mayor Nathan. And we're very proud to call Westchester County home. We're currently marking National Blood Donor Month, which we celebrate every January to raise awareness about the importance of blood donation and the life-saving impact of volunteer blood donors. This year's National Blood Donor Month comes at a particularly urgent moment. As the county executive said 2 weeks ago, we declared a blood emergency due to critically low levels of blood across our service area. The emergency declaration is the result of a confluence of factors. First, severe winter weather across New York, including storms that dropped more than a foot of snow in some areas, disrupted travel, and thereby forced blood drive cancellations. Second, record seasonal illnesses. New York State's Department of Health actually recently declared the highest single week number of flu cases since 2004. And finally, major holiday disruptions. Thursdays are typically one of our highest blood collection days, but with Christmas and New Year's Day both falling on Thursdays, we experienced a near total loss of midweek donations 2 weeks in a row. As a result of all of this, we saw blood donations drop nearly 40% below what is needed to meet hospital demand leading to less than a 2-day supply of blood for the hospitals that we serve. For context, a 7-day supply would be considered healthy. It's important to remember who's impacted when there's a blood shortage. Victims of traumatic accidents, people that are undergoing cancer treatment or waiting surgeries, newborn babies, their mothers, and more. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. And while more than 60% of the population is eligible to donate, only about 2 or 3% regularly do. Blood cannot be manufactured. The patients in our hospitals rely on people like you and me to roll up our sleeves and give them this gift of life. If every single eligible person donated blood at least once a year, we could end blood emergencies for good. Last year, blood donors across the United States helped save an estimated 4.5 million people. This year, another 4.5 million patients are counting on us. So as we celebrate National Blood Donor Month, we want to thank all of the volunteer blood donors in Westchester County and New York State and across the country. And we want to ask everyone to help us in a few ways. Number 1, donate blood once per season if you can. Visit nybc.org to find a blood center or blood drive near you. Number 2, invite your friends, your coworkers, your family to donate as well. And number 3, partner with us on a blood drive at your school, your place of worship, your workplace, your community center. You can learn more about how to host a blood drive also at nybc.org. Together, we can all do our part to ensure no patient goes without blood when they need it most. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. That was our community stakeholder relations manager for the New York Blood Center, Brian Harper, and he was reminding us, and we're going to ask him again. It's like he said, donate blood once a season. Brian, what does that mean? Is that once a season, like a fall, summer, spring, that kind of thing? Okay, good. Just wanted to just confirm that. Again, if you do that once a season, but if you just heard him as well, if you're able to do that once a year, that would be awesome. And making sure that you go up on the New York Blood Center's website, nybc.org, you'll be able to take a look and see where there's a local blood drive taking place, and there are many, and they also have them that go off out of your center as well. So you can, there's no excuse to do that, especially if you get a chance to go to Rye. The place is fantastic. It is centrally located right off of 287 and 95. There is no way and no reason that you can't get there if you can't get anywhere else. But the blood drives go on, and again, as I pointed out, some of our colleagues in government, I know that state legislators do that frequently to do that, and I know our county legislators do that as well, and partnering with our local organizations, faith-based organizations, organizations, just folks that want to get together to do this. It is so very important to do that. And I saw the look of shock in the folks that are here in the room with us when he mentioned that it's a blood emergency, meaning that there's a 2-day blood supply for all of the hospitals that we have, and we have fantastic institutes that are in our healthcare, but they need that blood. So again, make sure you take a look at that website. Thank you so much, Brian, for coming with us today and explaining that it's a Blood Donor Awareness Month, right? I probably messed up the actual name of it, but again, it's more important to everyone understand that you have this opportunity to be able to have your donations make a difference. And when they break down, and you know, some of us have had the opportunity to be with them when they're doing all of the work that they do, from one donation of blood to be able to help so many people with just one donation once a quarter. All of us can do it. So, all right, make sure that you sign up today if you're able to do that. We had, as the mayor pointed out, that there's work going on right now at Playland for the Dragon Coaster. Peter Tartaglia won't be up here to talk about that, but you know, he lives, breathes, and sleeps Playland all the time. And while it is the winter, it is sometimes that we have investments going on. We were not able to open the Dragon Coaster there, but as I promised you on Inauguration Day that you're going to be able to meet me at the Dragon Coaster, what you're going to see that the head and the tail of the iconic Dragon Coaster at Playland are being repaired, and they're preparing the park for the season. So the head and the tail are going to be removed for replacement and refurbishment, and that's on Tuesday, on Tuesday the 21st, and the 21st tomorrow, and it will be back and installed in time for the Playland 2026 season. We'll tell you the date that's going to be in May, but I can tell you that it's probably the normal day that you really think it's going to be. But the head and the tail will be back, so don't be alarmed if you're walking around, Mayor. If you're walking around and walking around Playland and going to Edith Reed or walking anywhere on the boardwalk, visiting the Children's Museum, and you look up after you park, don't panic. It's something that's going on that we are aware of. The head, the jaws, the legs, and the wings and tail are going to be recreated with galvanized steel framework and custom molded fiberglass reinforced shells. And the scales are going to be fabricated using a vacuum formed plastic for the impact and climate resilience. Remember, it's on the sound. And the scales will receive scenic paint treatment. So this work is being done. Of course, it's being done by the professionals that keep doing this for us. It's Adirondack Studios that are in Argyle, New York. So the Argyle folks will have our Dragon Coaster, and they are the ones that created this version of the Dragon approximately 25 years ago. So visitors are going to continue to see a significant amount of activity throughout Playland in the coming weeks, including the Dragon Coaster as we move ahead with the seasonal maintenance and improvements right across the park. We know how much people love the Dragon Coaster. Trust me, I got all your emails. And everyone is eager to see it restored and ready for riders. And we absolutely feel that same way. And we're committed to do this work carefully and the right way. To keep everyone informed, we're going to be sharing updates on the progress, through some pages as you'll see them coming along, and we encourage people and fans of the park to follow on that. We'll have some more announcements on that coming up soon. Up next, we are going to hear from the First Deputy Commissioner of Parks, Peter Tartaglia, and County Legislator Erica Lang Pierce, and they are going to be able to talk and give us an update on Westchester County's historic Ward Pound Ridge Reservation Fire Tower reconstruction project. It was originally decommissioned in the 70s. The new vintage tower is being constructed to bring the fire tower back as a signature landmark within the park. Once it's completed, the revitalized tower will offer sweeping panoramic views of the New York City skyline and Long Island Sound, creating another destination for visitors and celebrating the site's historic and recreational significance. Significant is important in our 250th year of America's celebrations that we're having going on, and this is going to be another one of those great opportunities. Let's first bring up First Deputy Commissioner Peter Tartaglia, who will then pass on to Erica Lang Pierce, our county legislator who's been leading this effort from District Number 2. Right, Peter?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, County Executive Jenkins. It's always exciting times in parks. We go from Dragon Coaster to Fire Tower and everything else in between. But that's really the greatness of what we have in Westchester County parks. We have over 50 facilities throughout Westchester County. We encourage people, even on these cold days, you can go out for a walk. We're firm believers in physical and mental health. And they go together, perfectly in parks. It's quality of life. So we will try to continue. We will provide all of these and more, much more, in this coming year. In Westchester County, we do honor history. That's really big for us. And bringing back the fire tower to Ward Pound Ridge Reservation in Cross River does exactly that. It honors history. For those who don't know, after a series of devastating fires in the Adirondacks in the early 1900s, localities started to use, through New York State, what was called forest fire detection stations, AKA fire towers. They were fire towers. Westchester County only had one. It was at Ward Pound Ridge Reservation in Cross River. It stood about 60 feet. It did stand 60 feet tall. And it was utilized from around, it was constructed in 1925 and utilized through around 1970. It was taken down in 82. Obviously, modernization changes things. There's other ways to communicate. Fire departments became stronger and more modernized. We are now going to be placing a new tower, which is historic in its own right, but it's going to be on the same exact spot as the original tower. Now, what's the difference? This one's 100 feet. One we had was 60 feet. So when it's up, the spot that it's going to be placed in is the original place that the first tower was. That is already 860 feet above sea level. So now you add this 100-foot tower, and you will now have it almost 1,000 feet above sea level when you go up to the top of it. And what does that mean? Long Island Sound, New York City skyline. You might be able to see Playland, who knows? New York City skyline, Hudson River, and the Catskills. So this is a very exciting time for us. What else does it mean? Why are we doing this besides the history? Well, it brings the park and this structure to a whole new level of education and historic programming. We'll have guided tours and walks, presentations. It's going to boost tourism, but it also will be local usage for the reservation. It's just another way to bring people in, and it's another way to get physical activity, but also education. So there's many reasons why we do these things. Other opportunities we'll have is we've already collaborated with our Department of Emergency Services to have local fire department safety trainings. Toward the end of last year, we had our first official fire burn at Ward Pound Ridge Reservation, which was very successful, and that's more of a modern way of controlling forest fires. So we'll bring the history of the past with methods that are used today and everything else in between. Another part that we will be able to do with this fire tower is our conservation research projects. We have a conservation division. It's Westchester County Parks, Recreation, and Conservation. Bat audio detection, bird data collection. These things go a long way because they also help us in future programming and the trends with climate change and what kind of nature is coming into our area and out of our area. So this will be a great day. There's so many people to thank. Our county executive, Ken Jenkins, is a staunch supporter of everything that we do in parks. We thank him and his entire staff. We have New York State Senator Pete Harcum for securing a grant to help fund this, Westchester County Parks Foundation, the Friends of Trailside Nature Museum, a fire tower supporter enthusiast, Tom Cohen, who's been working on this for years and years, a volunteer and supporter, Bob Cummings, who's also worked on it, our park staff, of course, our commissioner, Kathy O'Connor of Parks, Tara Ayataka, Rob Lopane, Joe Macarello, and Director of Conservation, Jason Klein. We don't do anything in a vacuum. We work with the Department of Public Works and Transportation and other departments, and that includes thanks to Brian Simmons, Dave Barbuti, Susie Gabor, and the First Deputy Commissioner, Gail Katzman. Now, I left somebody at the end to thank, and that would be our legislator who's right here. Legislator Erica Pierce of District 2, which has some of our largest parks, has been an absolute supporter of not just the fire tower, but of all of our parks in that district. And she asks very thoughtful questions, and she is a pit bull at times in the best of ways, because we have been able to move things forward in a constructive way. And I believe that Erica and I learn from each other as we move forward in these projects. So we really do thank her so much for her support, and she's going to come up and say a couple of words.
Thank you, and you've taken all the good talking
Sorry,
points.
yeah,
But I'm going to do my best here. I also want to include that my predecessor, Kitley Koval, was very much in office when the advocates brought this project to us, when it seemed very hopeless. And it's a great reminder that sometimes things that feel hopeless, you realize you can get done. So as mentioned, starting about a century ago, observers watched the forests of New York State from more than 100 fire towers, perched high atop the highest peak, searching for fires all over the place. There were 19 towers in the Catskills, 52 in the Adirondacks, and all of one in Westchester County, which was in Ward Pound Ridge Reservation. It was erected, I think, in 25, but it opened in 26. Right? And so this is the 100th year. So talk about timing. Yes, would we have loved to have gotten it done earlier? Absolutely. But on the 100th anniversary, it's just, it is perfection. As times changed, as mentioned, the tower was no longer needed for fire purposes, and then it was used for recreational purposes until it was decommissioned in the late 70s completely. As a resident who moved here in 2000 and someone who's been involved more or less in this project for about 9 years, I've never known Ward Pound Ridge with a fire tower. But I still come across residents who grew up with it. And it loomed large. I mean, larger in thought and feeling than perhaps its many feet. I've received emails, phone calls, and social media posts from people who no longer even live in Westchester, who may live in Florida or North Carolina, and call. They want to be here for the opening. It is so important to them. The stories include everything from lots of scout trips, Seminole family hikes, engagement stories. We've had people who got engaged on that fire tower, you name it. And again, to say that the fire tower looms large in the memories of the community would not be an exaggeration. Across the state, grassroots volunteer-based initiatives were formed to try to save some of those 100-plus towers across the state. Those initiatives recognize, again, the importance of how these pieces of physical pieces of history represent our heritage and the importance of emergency services in our parks, but also the untapped resource of tremendous tourism. For our area. Here in Westchester, we had one of those grassroots initiatives. Tom Cohn, some of the names that were mentioned, of course, by Peter Tartaglia, and now we get to see the wonderful results of all that hard work. We're extremely excited to see the final steps moving forward. As mentioned, the tower is going to be even taller than it was before, incredible visibility. We have the programming we're going to be able to do from this. It's just, the sky is the limit. Quite literally. So thank you so very much. And again, once again, thank you to Pete Harcum, who also helped the county by providing some seed funding, which really helped get this project off the ground. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Erica. Thank you so much.
We're going to get you up there. We're going to get you up there.
They keep trying to get me to commit to be going up there. What I committed to was to make sure that when Erica got a chance to do that she was going to go up and she was going to wave at the top. The Deputy County Executive asked about the accessibility of this, and that was an important part when we were talking through it, because we want to make sure that all of our park residents can see that. There's not an elevator just yet. I heard that they're going to go old school where you have to do the lift up to see if we can get someone up there, but we're going to continue to work on that. Again, there is a tremendous video that we want you to see with the work going on, and we're going to play that right now.
We're standing at the top of Cross River Mountain in Ward Pound Ridge Reservation, and behind me is the partially assembled fire tower that is going to be erected here in the very near future. From 1926 to the 1980s, there was an active fire tower here at the reservation. That tower was about 80 feet tall. This one is going to be 30 feet taller. This will be the peak of the tower. The original had an enclosed cabin with windows to keep the wind out, to keep the tower keeper warm. Many people who grew up and visited the park back in the 1980s and before have fond memories of their visits. And through the efforts of some of those people, combined with Westchester County and New York State, they purchased a 1962 air motor tower and is being reassembled here. We have partially assembled other vertical structures. When all are assembled on the ground, they will be positioned by crane and then attached to make the final tower. In order to get to the fire tower, it's a 1-mile hike from Pell Hill. Along the way, you'll see beautiful mountain laurels. If you come in June, the bloom is amazing. You'll see all sorts of birds, from woodpeckers to ravens, and that exposure to nature will not only help your mental health, but your physical health along that hike as well. From the top, we will be able to see New York City, the Long Island Sound, the Catskills, and all of this beautiful park. There are people who collect fire towers, so they will keep track of all the ones they've climbed within New York State. Going to be single file going up and down with a landing midway for people to pass and rest. It'll definitely be good for your cardio. We anticipate this bringing in hundreds or thousands of new visitors to the park, even if they're coming for the view from the tower, bird watching, possibly hawk migrations. We hope that they'll enjoy the nature and the surroundings around them and hike the trails, come camping, have picnics, and use the park.
And we want to say thank you again for our conservation end and park recreation and conservation. That was Tal, and Tal is awesome every time he talks about things. Peter Tartaglia was mentioned that our legislator, Erica Lang Pierce, has the largest parks in her district, and that includes Aldebello Muscoot Farm, right, as well as this one, which is the largest single park that we have. By far, it's close to 4,400. I always round up to say 4,500. It's okay, I get to do it. So, but it's 4,300 and some change. 4,300, probably 15, if I looked at our website appropriately. But again, this is a fantastic opportunity. And who knew there was a fire tower awareness group? There is, and it is a big tourist attraction as well. So people will come from around the world to see these fire towers, to do that. And besides the 1 mile hike that you have to do to get there, it is so tremendous with the Leatherman's Loop and those kind of things that are happening there. And there's so much great history. That is actually going to be one of the places that we have a reenactment. And I thought, if I remember hearing correctly, from Natasha Caputo from our tourism, and that for that revolutionary Westchester 250 idea, it's going to be 1,000 or so people that are going to reenact some things that happened during that particular time. Again, Westchester has so much tremendous history, and Ward Pound Ridge is another one of those. The Pound Ridge coming from our Native American friends, the Nape family that's in the area for us here in Westchester, that named the Pound Ridge, where there was a pond where they kept their cattle until they were ready to slaughter and eat them. So again, at the end, we'll have so much great things happening there at Ward Pound Ridge. And again, we want to thank Erica Elaine Pierce for her leadership. Whether she was staffing or whether she was the legislator, she's been engaged in that. And we have so many other things. Mearstead, I mean, all those fun things happen in that second district up there. And again, it is fantastic. Make sure you go on the Parks website to take a look at that. And better yet, download the Parks app. And we'll talk about that again after the Deputy County Executive lets us know everything that's going on there. But again, another great attraction that we have coming up, which is going to be on February 7th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. T-Town is going to welcome visitors to its 22nd annual Hudson River Eagle Fest at Croton Point Park. Eagle Fest always draws thousands of visitors from the tri-state area to Westchester County every year, and celebrating the bald eagles and other majestic birds of prey as they flock to the Lower Hudson Valley during their annual winter migration. So we have Kevin Carter here with us from T-Town. Kevin, come up and let us know everything going on in T-Town.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. It's an honor being asked to join this event. Ken, thank you for having us. As was said, Eagle Fest. It's one of the really wonderful winter traditions in Westchester County. This year marks the 22nd Eagle Fest that T-Town has put on. It started well before my time. I've been at T-Town for 14 years, but when it started, it was held at the Preserve, and it became so big that it had to move. So it's a good challenge, a good problem to have. And I can honestly say, though, that the event really blossomed when it moved to Croton Point Park, and it really began a long tradition of partnership with the county parks. Croton Point Park, absolutely gorgeous park, a fine place to really observe eagles in the wild, particularly during a cold winter like this when the ice floes are on the Hudson. So we're very excited to be sharing the news about the 22nd Eagle Fest on February 7th from 9 to 4 at Croton Point Park. People who have come before, they'll get to see new things that they haven't seen, but you can count on incredible bird walks, bird shows in heated tents. I want to say it more than once, heated tents. This is February 7th. But it's such a terrific way to get your family out, your friends together, come together and really enjoy the beauty of the park, and to learn about what's really an amazing conservation success story, the return of the bald eagle from the brink of extinction. And it's a testament to the fact that when people come together, both in the citizens and nonprofits and government, that yes, we can make a difference. And so we use that as a great platform to really discuss conservation. That's our mission at T-Town, to inspire the community to lifelong environmental stewardship. But the day is very much a celebratory day. So we invite everyone to join us. There will be thousands of people there. There will be heated tents. There will be food trucks. We'll have empanadas and barbecue and wraps. And you'll get to see bald eagles up close, hawks, owls, other birds of prey. Handlers from all over the Northeast come and fly their birds, so you get to see birds in flight. One of the more interesting things that sometimes happens there is they'll fly birds and you'll start to see interaction with the wild birds in the area. It's really wonderful, and I'm very, very honored to have the opportunity for T-Town to be partnering with Westchester County at one of their most beautiful parks. And I know that County Executive Jenkins is a fan. He's been many times. We hope to see you out there on February 7th. If you want more information, visit our website, www.ttown.org. Tickets are available now. And bring the family, and we hope you have a great Eagle Fest 2026.
Thanks, Kevin. And again, he's giving the shout out, and we're going to continue to say that it is Eagle Fest that helps in support of the T-Town activities, and they're doing some great investments as well on their own reservation at the 1,000-acre nature preserve that they have that does so many things and interacting with Westchester County and the park system. And again, at Croton Point Park, it is fantastic. They get a chance every once in a while. We'll catch the eagles nesting, right? In the Croton Point Park, when you think about all the things that happen in the park system, and working with T-Town to do that environmental stewardship, bringing the bald eagles back from the brink, to be able to do the investments in the Hudson River, and you get a chance to see all of those things working together with people's investments from every government, from every philanthropy dollar, all those things going together to show that we have a responsibility to make sure that we're protecting the environment, and T-Town's education programs help us do that in combination with parks, recreation, and conservation. But there's so many things that are going on, and it's a great, great opportunity. Kevin said at least 3 times it's a heated tent, all right? Because it can get kind of cold out there when we've been out there. We've been out there for the launch, usually the week before, and it is kind of cold when we do that. We bring some young folks out to do that. It's a great educational opportunity, and as he pointed out, you'll see some new things if you've been there before. But again, there's always the best parts when the handlers come out and show us some of the different birds of prey that are going on. So it is a very, very good activity. So again, congratulations, 22 years of doing that. And again, we're not singing the Steve Miller song. We have that playing in the background under the heated tent, so everyone could do that and love flying like an eagle. So again, congratulations on the 22nd anniversary. While it's still January, we're going to tell you about a few different things coming up. Certainly, we just had Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend, but on February 3rd, we're going to come together in the county center to officially kick off Black History Month. So that first is on February 3rd. That'll be here in the county office building, where we'll be honoring the culture, history, and contribution of Black leaders and communities who have shaped Westchester County. And later on in the month, we'll have our Trailblazers Award on February 27th. That'll be at the county center, we'll recognize individuals whose leadership, service, and impact help build a more just, inclusive, and equitable future for Westchester County. You'll be able to see that information coming up on the screen, but you certainly can email communications at westchestercountyny.gov to hear more information about that. Speaking of the county center, it's up time for our Deputy County Executive, Richard Wishney, to let us know everything that's going on in our park system.
Yes, Mr. County Executive, today, with all the focus on our park system in many different ways, we know why now it's an award-winning and nationally accredited system. We're so proud of the work that the staff does for our parks. As Peter mentioned, we have more than 50, I think there's some 55 parks, thousands and thousands of acres, and many, many activities throughout the year. We're just going to highlight just a couple that are occurring in the next week. Once again, the Westchester Knicks will be playing at the Westchester County Center. That'll be on Friday, January 23rd, and Saturday, January 24th. Those games start at 7 p.m., and they usually end around 9 p.m. You don't want to miss these activities. They're very exciting. Some of the greatest basketball players in this region, that eventually some of them wind up right in Madison Square Garden with the Knicks, the real Knicks. So take advantage of that. The kids love it. You're right up close to the court. It's just a wonderful opportunity. And then on Saturday, January 24th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., we're going to have a program at the Lasden Public Gardens focusing on the owls in winter. Children from ages 3 and older can stop by the Welcome Center between 1 and 3 to learn about the owls that live at Lasden, and then make adorable snowy owl craft. That's a free event, and we hope families will take advantage of that. And then last Sunday, January 25th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., this is a big deal. It's the 25th Annual Westchester County Wedding and Bridal Expo. We usually get tons of people coming. You don't want to miss the Hudson Valley's largest wedding show. Couples can shop for every facet of their wedding on one day in one convenient location, and of course at the one and only wedding and bridal show. Multiple vendors for each wedding product and service will be there, providing you with a wide range of styles and prices for any taste or budget. So get ready for that June wedding. Again, on Sunday, January 25th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our county center. There is a $10 fee at the door. And Mr. County Executive, that's it for today.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Richard, thank you so much. And again, as was pointed out, the nationally accredited and award-winning park system also has an app that you can get from the Google Play or from the Apple App Store to download, and you can get so many things there. Make sure you sign up for the e-news as well. Every once in a while, there's discounts in there. I know that there's an ad for T-Town for Eagle Fest. There's no discount on it, though, right? So, continue to make sure to help to support everything that's going on there. As the Deputy County Executive pointed out, 18,000 plus acres, 51, 55, we're going to mix them up, right? So 55 different facilities that we have, but more importantly, this is the kind of investment that's made throughout the county. As we started out this afternoon with Josh Nathan, the mayor of the city of Rye, which hosts Playland, but has so many other things going on. He was out with us actually on the Bronx River Reservation that we were at when Governor Kathy Hochul had her team come down and announce the $276 million worth of investment in flooding and flood mitigation and resiliency planning. And he was out there with us, and it was very brisk on the Bronx River Parkway while we were out there with our state legislative partners that were there with us to be able to talk about the investments that were being made in flooding. Again, so very important for everywhere in Westchester, no matter where you are, to have flood mitigation, and these dollars are going to help do that, following up from the Environmental Bond Act. And then we went through and we were able to continue to talk with our folks today and talk with gun violence prevention, led by Catherine Borgia. It's done a tremendous job in making sure that we're continuing to understand with all of the partners that are necessary in doing gun violence prevention, education, and understanding, more importantly, what things we can do to help eliminate gun violence, and whether or not that's from suicide or whether or not that's unintended, people not being able to think through things. And another point Catherine made when she was up here, that if people think they're hiding things from their children, they're not, right? And again, it's better to have that ounce of prevention so that we, instead of a pound of cure. But with CURE, we actually were able to talk to Brian Harper, our New York Blood Center Community and Stakeholders Relations Manager, and talking about the blood shortage right now that's going on. So make sure you take an opportunity to go on to nybc.org and find a local site to be able to donate blood once a season. That's summer winter, spring, and fall to be able to do that at least once in each one of those seasons. We made sure to talk about what's happening at Playland from the nationally accredited and award-winning park system with the Dragon Coaster as the head and the tail are being moved and everything's being refurbished, right? I know that I've saw on social media along the summertime where people were looking at the Dragon Coaster and they were pointing things out. Yes, we knew, and we're working as hard as we can to make sure that it's restored to its fullest. But he was really here to talk about the fire tower in Ward Pound Ridge and Erica Lang Pierce's leadership through all these years, of almost 9 years of work to get there. The wheels turn slowly sometimes, but they turn. And again, what I lovely say with the parks, the first thing is to try to figure out how to do what we're trying to have accomplished and making sure that that historic tower can be back at bigger, stronger, and faster. All right. So again, you won't have me up there, but again, Erica Lang Pierce is going to threaten to try to get me up there and see that, and then we'll be able to do that. Maybe we'll get some donations going for the Parks Foundation if we figure out who can go up on the fire tower after making that 1 mile hike. Right. So I'm going to be able to do the hike. I'm not sure we're going to climb up that tower. Right. And then we had Kevin Carter here, our executive director from Teatown Lake Reservation, talking about Eagle Fest, which will be happening on February 7th from 9 to 4 p.m. You can get tickets for that going on teatown.org. Website to make sure that we have that. But again, thousands of visitors coming to Eagle Fest in Westchester County Parks. This is a great collaboration at Croton Point Park. And again, so many opportunities to see actual eagles nesting and going on. If you're really cool, you get a chance on the Hudson River. There is nothing more majestic than watching an eagle fly down that Hudson River. So again, it's an opportunity to see that. We have Black History Month coming up in February. Some things that are happening. The Westchester Knicks. If you're really lucky, you may see either Josh Hart or Jalen Brunson on their way back from injury. They've been on injured reserve, so we'll see what happens with that. You keep your fingers crossed. You can see so many other players that end up at the big club, like Jordan Clarkson, who came through with the Westchester Knicks, was an all-star there because he's an all-star wherever he is, and he's now on the big club. So again, you never know who you're going to see when you're there for the Westchester Knicks and have an opportunity to do that. With that, that's This Week in Westchester. I'm Westchester County Executive Ken Jenkins. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back to you with any additional information. Make sure you keep your eyes open for those newsletters. Sign up for the newsletter for Westchester County, Parks newsletter, or any other things in your local community. Thanks for watching.